Happy new moon solar eclipse. Can you hear me? If you can hear me, just give me a little nod. Yep, okay. I am coming to you from the forest in northern Arizona, north of Flagstaff. And there are pine trees here. I'm just going to explain a little bit about what's coming through your screen. There are pine trees. Pine trees. Medicine is usually about dissolving any sort of guilt and bringing in a greater sense of freedom. There are aspen trees with all the quivering leaves, which is usually about dissolving fear and anxiety, helping us feel a deep sense of calm. There are wild roses out here. Wild roses dissolve apathy and they help us discover our passion and our desire to engage. And I'm also sitting in a big patch of wild irises. They're a little bit different than the running iris, but there are wild irises out here as well. So I am just going to talk a little bit about running iris, and then we might do some speed journaling. And it will be a short session, so it's short and easy for you. I spent the day looking for wild orchids, and we actually found a really cool forest orchid. So you'll see that one coming up in the Flowerevolution soon. I have been trying to take more time off and go out into the wilderness, and I think if you watched the video that I recorded for this past week, you'll know that I highly recommend taking a day off, whether you are inside your home. If you're inside your home, take a day off and have no plan, zero plan, and notice what it feels like to allow yourself to decide what to do in the very present moment with zero plan. Like, oh, I feel like washing my clothes. I'm gonna wash my clothes. And then the next moment arises. The more that I take running iris, the more that I realize its a tremendous capacity to teach us how to rest in the present moment and get a deeper sense of trust in our own inner authority. And I think I've taken 3 bottles in the last month, so it's like totally in love with this flower. And I'm really, okay, so let me say this. If you get the urge to take a day off, or you get the urge to go out into the mountains or the forest or where there are no people, try not to override that and allow yourself to take that time. So, for example, I slept last night in a tent. I'm out with Taylor in the middle of this incredible forest, and I think I probably only slept 3 hours because I was just so stimulated by the surroundings. It was like so quiet I couldn't sleep. And after a day of doing the orchid collecting, and now it's what, in Arizona it's about just after 6, and I have no idea if we are going to stay another evening, if we're going to go back to the city, to Phoenix. Like, I'm really just striving to not strive, allowing myself to engage with the moment as it's arising. So after this, we'll see what we feel like and what the next step is. So I highly, highly encourage you all to allow yourself to have that at least once a week. Have that sort of time where you can play with what does it feel like to allow yourself to act in any given moment based on the moment that's arising. So if you I see so many faces of people I love. If you have a little piece of paper and a pen or pencil, I'm just going to ask a couple questions in hopes to inspire you to reflect, and you may have thought about these questions before, but what I'm finding with each month's flower elixir is that it almost seems like it's reveals itself in layers. So like you take it the first week and you kind of get a sense, and then the second week, and then the third week, almost like the single flower elixirs have this ability to really go deep, and it may not be as obvious in the first week what it's actually doing, but it becomes more apparent and really works its way through your system as you continue to take it. So the first question, and I would say if you can bullet journal and just write down, say like the top 3 things or the top thing that comes to your mind without editing yourself. The first question, and these are very simple and you may have seen these before, but let's just see what comes up in this moment. What makes you tired? AKA, what feels like a drag right now? And the next question is, and if you're just jumping on right now, we're just answering some speed journaling questions. If you have a piece of paper and a pen. The first question, if you missed it, was what makes you tired, what feels like a drag, and the second question is what energizes you right now. Let your mind go wild. It might be something totally different and unexpected. What energizes you right now? Like today, different from yesterday. In what moments of the day are you allowing yourself to take a break, to take a nap, to slow down? Are you allowing yourself to take breaks or naps or slow down? If so, what does that feel like? And the last question, can you think of any way, since you've been taking the running iris for quite some time, if you reflect back, let's even just say in the last few days, have there been any occurrences when you've been more open to engaging with others, either with people that you don't typically engage with or in a fresh way that you are not used to? And this aspect will be amplified if you are using the Truth Teller anointing oil. Okay, I hadn't thought of this until right now, but I'm going to throw this last question in. In what ways have you noticed yourself trusting yourself more? In what subtle, nuanced way do you feel like you trust yourself more? Right before we jumped on the Zoom, this huge raven appeared behind us, and we thought that was an interesting phenomenon. So Taylor looked up what the symbolism is for a raven. They seem to be wanting to join the call. Can you see nothing?
I'm just going to read a few words that pop out. Introspection, courage, self-knowledge, magic, rebirth and renewal, rebirth without fear, being able to tear down and rebuild, master magician, shapeshifter, transformation of difficulties into blessings, being able to find light within the darkness, courage for self-reflection, being comfortable with yourself, playful aspects, stir life without fear, change in consciousness, and power of thought.
Okay, so I can't resist. Let's just do 3 more bullet questions. One is, in what ways do you feel like in the last few weeks you are rebirthing a new version of yourself or an aspect of yourself that is without fear? There's so much happening in the collective right now, obviously, and in the world. I think these questions are really appropriate for right now. In the last month or so, how have you transformed difficulties into blessings? Or how could you reflect back in the past to something that was a difficulty and shift your perspective so that it is a blessing? Okay, and then the very last question, in what ways have you found yourself embodying more courage and or becoming more comfortable with yourself? I hope you can hear the birds here. They're so great. And when the breeze kicks up, it's so magical here. You can hear it moving through the pines and the aspens. Cue breeze. We were up at about 8,500 feet and we had to come down about 2,000 feet so that we could get service. And Taylor had a really good insight, and she was saying that. What did you say? You said you weren't tired. You want to share that?
Yeah, we were looking at the goodies page before we popped on, and one of the questions was like asking yourself, am I physically tired? Am I mentally tired? Or am I energetically tired? And my answer to all of those were no, but like I still had a desire to rest. But the rest was like spacious and active versus just like, you know, taking a nap and totally zonking out. So it's like energizing, but you're still resting.
Yeah, and I think we probably can't underestimate the energies at play and all the many things that are happening in the world and how that affects each one of us. And how often we have this habit of planning. And this year, I would say, has been such a wonderful school at being surprised and open to the unknown. And I notice that inside of myself, and I share this so that you can sort of introspect in your life as well. I notice that, like, something as simple as, am I going to stay another night and pitch the tent and sleep in the mountains, or am I going to go back to Phoenix? Like, it makes me nervous that I haven't decided that. And so it's like funny how much we like to plan. And so one of the aspects of running Iris is in being so totally open and spacious that you are open to the unexpected and things don't shake you if they are unpleasant. And if they're pleasant, you can be in a better position to be aware and receive them. I was lying in the hammock before we came down 2,000 feet. And yeah, it feels like rest, but it feels like the word I came up with was awaking. It's awaking. It's like being so awake in the moment. And the last thing I'll say is why I think that this particular flower is so important for right now is that it is really experientially inside of our own bodies and psyches in our own world, reteaching us or reminding us that the inner authority is inside here, and that we can trust that, whether it's making a decision, should I do this or should I do that? Just listening to the breeze. And that you really can trust yourself. And then you can trust yourself even more. And then you can trust yourself even more. And that the way to access your own inner authority on what feels right to you and what feels good to you, and how you will decide to which pathways to take and how you'll make decisions, rather than looking externally to the external world, looking at influences from outside of us, family, friends, social media, news. It's a good reminder to come back in to our own inner world and trust our own inner authority as number one. So enjoy the layers of running Iris. If you haven't been taking it as frequently as you'd like to, increase the amount of times you're taking it. I know that originally Taylor and I came out last weekend looking for Sacred Datura because that is the next month's flower, and it is just starting to bloom. everywhere from high desert to low desert in Arizona right now. It's a moonflower. It blooms at night. It is highly poisonous. It's one of those flowers that it's like poison cures poison in a sense, or poison heals poison. And obviously in the flower essence, we can take the sacred datura because it's so dilute that when you get the remedy, there's no more plant parts in it. And thanks. So really excited about that flower that's coming next. Can't wait, actually. And if you, also I will say one last thing, that every quarter, so if you're new to this program, every quarter we will be doing a get together on Zoom where we break out into one-on-one sessions and we get to talk about what we've been experiencing. I find that to be really helpful, to be able to just talk to another person and say, like, what are you feeling? This is what I'm feeling. And sometimes new things will come to you. So anyway, we'll be doing that next month. In the meantime, always remember the Facebook group is there if you want to start a thread like, hey, I've been feeling this. And also the hashtag on Instagram, Flowerevolution Insights, if there's something you want to share. Let's see if there's anything else. Maybe I'll just, we could do a 2-minute sort of going inside meditation to end it. If you feel like closing your eyes, you can close your eyes. If you want to keep them open, you can keep them open. If it is possible through quantum physics, we'll make the intention that everyone who's present on this call will be present. That in some ways our hearts are amplified, are united and amplified. Just taking a moment to notice how your body feels, if you can locate any areas of tension, inviting in spaciousness and rest, gentleness, ease. Notice what it feels like to relax into your own body. Coming back to yourself. Notice what that word feels like inside of you. Trust, self-trust. What does it feel like to trust yourself and to trust your own inner authority? See if you can relax your body just a little more. Can you unwind just a tiny bit more? Can you open your heart just a little bit more to yourself? We'll dedicate this time so that we may consciously amplify the effects of the running iris flower elixir in all of our bodies, in all of our energetic systems. May it ripple out into space. And may you feel the peacefulness that is in this place that we're in here in Arizona. May you receive the gifts of the mountains and pine trees and aspen. May you experience fearlessness and calm and passion and spaciousness. Thank you for jumping on. If your eyes are closed, you can open them. Have a beautiful evening, morning if you're in Singapore. Thank you so much for joining. It means a lot to me that you all are here. I can't wait until next month when we can jump on together and all share with each other. And I'm sending you all of the bird song and breezes and peacefulness of this beautiful place. Thank you.